Are you serious? Are you serious? I'm Paul Begley. Get your Bible, get a cup of coffee, sit down, get a notepad, because I'm going to give you 18 reasons America is collapsing. This came from a link from Stephen of Oklahoma. Powerful. Let's go there right now. As the United States economy collapses, the thin veneer of civilization that we all take for granted is going to begin to disappear. In fact, there's already an increasing number of signs that the collapse of society is accelerating. The cities, such as Chicago, roving packs of young people are doing what's called mob robbing local businesses, randomly assaulting tourists and shoppers, and are even pulling people out of their vehicles. And we're not talking about one or two people going around mugging people. We're talking about mobs of 15, 12, 15, literally just ganging up on somebody, beating them to death, taking their wallet, and then just running. And how are you going to identify that many? Pack mob robbing going on in Chicago. It's happening. It's happening. You know, I a lot of times I would take the South Shore train from Michigan City, Indiana, on into Chicago. You can get off right there at Randolph Street, and you can walk down Michigan Avenue, all the shops, the Field Museum, the aquarium. And you turn the corner, walk a few blocks to the Sears Tower. I've done this a lot. My wife and I, we've done this a lot. But now they're saying it's dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. You can't go down the Navy Pier. It's dangerous. Let me just tell you about the 18 collapses. 18 reasons that a society like America is collapsing. Oh, the mob, of course, the mob. This year, it's happening in downtown Chicago. Years of under-hiring have resulted in police force that is unprepared for the gang violence. Moreover, concealed carrying is now illegal in Chicago, so you can't carry a gun. And unless one follows the Constitution, you're not allowed to carry a firearm in the city of Chicago. So thus, you are unprotected. Now, tourists and residents have been attacked by mobs of youths on buses, the beaches down there by Lake Michigan, on bicycle paths near the shops on the Magnificent Mile, and that's Michigan Avenue, which I'm talking about, outside their homes. Mobs of shoplifters are going into convenience stores and are just robbing a place, and they're all walking out. They don't care they're on videotape. You got 12 or 15. You're not going to find them all. The Mug Mile, and they're doing it in Chicago. This is one of the signs of a falling apart economy and a collapse of a society. Number two, if you don't pay your student loans, you may find yourself getting dragged from your home by a SWAT team. Remember when President Obama was running for president, he said that he felt he should have his own private army? The brown shirts, they're called. Well, this has begun. I was wondering if he was ever going to get around to it. It has begun. It has. Remember, President Barack Obama also changed the student loan process. No longer do you get a student loan from Sallie Mae, but now you have to get it from the United States government. Also, they changed the bankruptcy laws that if you file bankruptcy, you cannot file on student loans. Thus, you are under the oppressiveness. And the IRS will come looking. If it's not them, the SWAT teams are now starting to enter people's houses. And in Indiana, we're the only state in the union that the police don't even have to have a search warrant. They don't even have to have a search warrant. They can come into your house if they feel a reason. They don't even need a search warrant. That's happening in Indiana. Are you serious? What about where's the Constitution? They're tearing up the Constitution. But that's another sign of the collapse of a free society. Now, here's what's happening. A father was dragged from his home. He was handcuffed in front of his children by a SWAT team looking for his estranged wife. Why? Because they wanted to collect from her unpaid student loans. A stunned Kenneth Wright had his front door kicked in by raiding party at 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 a.m. It happened before being dragged onto his front porch. There he was handcuffed and led to a police car with his 3 children. What? Are you serious? Are we talking about America? He says he was then detained for 6 hours while officers looked for his estranged wife who no longer lived at his house. How would you like to have that problem? A third reason, one town in Connecticut was forced to shut down a beautiful new fountain because too many people were using this water fountain as a toilet. Why do you think they're doing that? Do they not have homes? Well, I don't think anybody's talking about it. You'll never see it on the mass media. But the homeless society, the homeless population is up 20% since the inauguration of President Barack Obama. Now, number 4, the most recent Memorial Day weekend, cities all over America literally turned into war zones. There were reports of mass violence in Miami, New York, Chicago, Charlotte, North Carolina, Myrtle Beach, Nashville, Tennessee, and Boston, Massachusetts, among other places. If you want to see video of some of the violence in Miami as it was happening, you can view it. The video is quite disturbing, so please don't let small children see it. We're talking about major cities over when? Memorial Weekend! Violence and violence and violence. Also, number 5, one of the hottest books in America right now is a book entitled, I can't say the title, but I can't even say the title. I don't even want to use an initial. Oh, Go to Blank to Sleep. That's one of the top selling children books in America. Number 6, a teenage girl in Washington State recently shot her dad with a hunting bow because he took away her cell phone. Are you serious? A teenage kid just decided to grab a bow, a hunting bow, and shoot her dad? You took my cell phone, I'm just going to shoot you. What's wrong? Where's this spirit of murder coming from? Where's this violence coming from? And before you say the devil, I already know that. But is the devil now in the video games? Is it the portrayed in the movie of Hollywood? Is it in the home? Is it in the schools? Number 7, in New York City, a 32-year-old man was recently charged with sexually assaulting an 85-year-old woman. What's wrong with these people? What's wrong with these people? But you know what? Did I just say that was in New York City? Isn't that the same area that there's a congressman named Anthony Weiner who's continuing to I mean, isn't that sick? A 32-year-old man is charged with sexually assaulting an 85-year-old woman. Come on. But when you got a congressman like Anthony Weiner who's sending his pictures of his naked body all over the internet to all kinds of women, including a 17-year-old girl, and the media trying to save his job. Yeah, oh yes, can he survive? What can he do? He's checking into rehab. He has a sexual addiction. I don't know what the big deal is. A lot of people are sexing today. No, a lot of people are not doing this. Oh yes, there's people doing it, and our society's falling apart. But they're not representing the constituents of New York City, and then or the New York State. And then you wonder why 32-year-old men are out here sexually assaulting 85-year-old great grandmothers. It's because there's sin and lust and sexual perversion, and because the sitcoms. I was trying. 2 nights ago, I don't know when it was, the Tony Awards, I don't know what it was, but it happened to come on television as I flipped through the channels, and they were singing and singing and singing about sexual perversion to open the show, and I said, what? Are you serious? Are we this sick and so desensitized that we don't even see the sin that Satan has put upon us? And listen, this is the signs, the 18 signs of the collapse of a society. Now, number 8, Democratic strategist James Carville recently made national headlines when he told talk show host Don Imus the following quote. Look, this isn't humanitarian, You're smart enough to see this. People, If it continues, we're going to start to see civil unrest in this country. I hate to say it, but I think it's imminently possible. Number 9, according to one new study, the percentage of U.S. households that contain a married couple with children has fallen from 1960. How many do you think there was? In 1960, how many U.S. households were made up of a married couple with children? 1960. I was born in 1961. So, at the beginning of my lifetime, in 1960, every household in America, 44.3% of those homes contained a mommy, a daddy, married, with children. The American family. Wholesome. A good start. 44% of Americans' households. Today, it's 20.2%. So 80% of the homes in America do not contain a wholesome family. Now, there might be a single person living there, or might be an elderly couple living there who's already had children. But for the most part, they're single moms with kids. They're gay men living together. They're lesbian women living together. There's men and women living together who aren't married. There's children piling in together trying to survive. We're talking about the breakdown of the moral fiber of America. That's reason number 9 of signs that a society is collapsing. Number 10, in Atlanta, 24 teenagers recently violently assaulted 2 Delta flight attendants on a train for no apparent reason. The following is how a local Atlanta newspaper described the attacks. Their Clockwork Orange style blitz was over soon after it began. The teens boarded the train, headed to the Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. At the Garnett station, a little after midnight, seemingly intent on instilling fear, they succeeded. There was blood everywhere. People were hollering and screaming. A witness told Channel 2 Action News, "We were intimidated. People were terrified. People were trying to run, but there was nowhere to run." Just massive groups, large numbers. So we're not talking about 1 or 2 deranged individuals or people who are mean or deviant. We're talking about now mobs of young people robbing you on the streets of Chicago, beating you up in the train stations and subway stations in Atlanta, Georgia. Violence all Memorial Weekend in New York and Boston and Nashville, Tennessee. Look, you're not going to escape even in the heartland anymore. It's becoming evil, dangerous, violent, murderous. God help us. Number 11, federal prosecutors in Indianapolis. Hey, I live in Indiana. Have announced that they have broken up one of the largest child pornography rings ever discovered. It was based where? In Bloomington, Indiana. Bloomington, Indiana? We're talking Brown County. That's one of the most beautiful, if not the most beautiful area in the entire state of Indiana. It's a wholesome place. Bloomington, Indiana, that's the home of Indiana University. That's where little Nashville is, and the little antique shops, and the beautiful Brown County State Park. Are you serious? We're talking about Bloomington, Indiana, had the largest child pornography ring ever discovered in history, is in the heartland of America, and you don't think the society isn't falling apart? Are you serious? Are you serious? And do you realize that this girl that came up missing, 2 weeks ago, where was she from? Indiana University. Where was she abducted? Where did she disappear from? Bloomington, Indiana. Number 12, Barack Obama's food and safety chief is defending armed raids of raw milk producers, including a raid on an Amish farmer. He says the FDA will keep doing our public health job. What? Barack Obama, you don't need to send armed soldiers raiding the farms of the Amish? What? The Amish? The Amish are the most innocent, civilized groups of people and families in the country. And believe me, I love to go to Amish Acres, which is up in Napanee, Indiana. It's the best food in the world, the cleanest. You ought to go there. It's miraculous how particular. You don't have to worry about foot and mouth disease coming out of the Amish. You don't have to worry about poisonous toxins in the food coming from the Amish. You don't have to worry about E. coli on the vegetables coming from the Amish. Come on, Obama. This is an assault on religious freedom once again because you want to grow government. You want to grow it to the point that it's they against us. Well, us ain't liking that, okay? But again, that's the 12th sign of the collapse of a free society. Number 13, in Florida, a 45-year-old Polk County Sheriff's deputy has been charged with strapping children to a desk and spanking them with sex toys. I got to have coffee on that one. A 45-year-old sheriff deputy in Florida took children, tied them to a desk, strapped them to a desk, and spanked them with sex toys. Is this guy still walking around free? Is he not already been sent to prison for 35 years? Number 14. In the Sioux City, Iowa, a 41-year-old man recently walked into the office where his boss worked, beat him half to death. The boss suffered 4 chipped teeth, needed surgery to repair his nose. Apparently the boss was planning to fire the man. Just go in and beat the guy to death. Just go in and take it. Just whoop on him. Bust him up. Number 15. A 20-year-old woman in Oklahoma has been charged with killing the family cat and using the blood as part of a costume she planned to wear to a Lady Gaga concert. I can't take much more. This is number 15. I can't. What is wrong with people? How sick have we become? How sick are we becoming? I know Lady Gaga wears a lot of weird clothes and fruit and animal things or sometimes barely anything. I understand that, but so this 20-year-old woman in Oklahoma, that's a nice wholesome place. Come on, Stephen, you're in Oklahoma. She killed the family cat, put the blood all over a costume that she planned on going to a Lady Gaga concert. Let's not blame Lady Gaga for this. She didn't do it. These are the crazies that are out there in a society that is collapsing. Number 16, McDonald's recently had a national hiring day, and about 1 million Americans showed up to apply for jobs at McDonald's restaurants all around the nation. Well, in Cleveland, a horrible fight broke out between some of the girls. It ended up with 3 people being run over by a car. You can view the video if you want to. Please do not watch the video if you are sensitive to graphic violence. I heard President Barack Obama say that there's a lot of new jobs being created with his stimulus package, and that the government was going to create a lot of shovel-ready jobs. Of course, it required several trillion more tax dollars that had to be given out to the cronies that elected President Barack Obama. But it was going to stimulate the economy and create a lot of jobs. But when McDonald's decided they're going to have a national hiring day, 1 million people. I saw in their debate last night, the Republican debate, Newt Gingrich opened the debate by saying there's 14 million Americans that are unemployed. And I guess 1 million of them try to get a job at McDonald's. You understand this? Do you see? And it's getting so violent. People are trying to get work, trying to figure out a way to survive, that they're running each other over with cars in line waiting for job applications. You don't think that America's in trouble? This is number 16 reasons of the collapse of a free society. Number 17, all over the United States, vicious restaurant brawls have been erupting with alarming frequency, and many of them are being posted on YouTube for the world to see. You can see one example if you want to. I mean, they're restaurants. People getting up and fighting in restaurants. Aggravated about the type of service they're getting. Upset at the food that's coming. mad at the prices, don't have the money to pay, whatever. Number 18, from coast to coast, these mob robbings has become a very disturbing trend. What is a mob robbing? Well, basically dozens of young people storm into a store together, grab whatever they want, and storm back out. Recent examples of this has been caught on videotape in Washington, D.C. and Las Vegas, Nevada. So does anyone still doubt that we are starting to see the collapse of our free society? Do we sadly not see that our whole culture is getting worse? What happened to this secular humanistic doctrine that we've been taught in our schools? Since the Bible left the schoolhouse, since the Ten Commandments came off the walls of our schools and our courthouses, since abortion became illegal, since we become a sick and tolerant society, these are just 18 reasons that we're seeing the collapse of a free society. You might say, well, what do you want? What else can there be? Well, we could go to communism. Then you could have your head completely bashed in if you lift it up before you're asked to. You can work for slave labor, and we, instead of buying the slave products made in China, we can be the ones that make the products and sell it to China. I'm Paul Begley. This has been a truthful analysis of the collapse of a free society. Now, if you're looking for things to get better here on earth, you need to get it out of your head. What's the solution? The same solution it was in 1960 when there used to be 43% or 44% of every home had a mommy and a daddy that were married and with children. It was the same thing then as it is now. It takes the God of heaven. It takes the Christianity of Christ. It takes the moral standards of the Bible being applied into the homes and in society to have a peaceful society with the rule of law. When you take away the moral standard, when you remove the Ark of the Covenant from the people and allow the Philistines to run wild, you're headed for a road that leads to damnation and hell. We are sick. We are perverted. Our minds are in the gutter. Our songs we sing are sick. The thoughts we think are sick. The eyes we watch and the pornography and the different things that's going on all around us, it's sick. And you know what? But this is just what we've become as an American society. The violence. The violence. I know you don't want to hear it from the preacher, so it's going to get worse. Which side are you going to be on? Are you going to be saved when Jesus comes back? Because believe me, that's why all these Bible prophecies are happening. Now you want to know why the cows are falling over dead? It's not because of one moldy sweet potato. It's because Hosea chapter 4 verses 1, 2, and 3 says, because there's no mercy, there's no truth, there's no knowledge of God in the land, because of swearing and lying and killing and stealing and committing adultery. God said the people have broke out. There's no barriers, there's no more fiber, there's no more moral fiber. God said the land's going to mourn. The people are going to languish. The birds are going to fall out of the sky. The fish are going to wash up on the shores. And the beasts of the field are going to pitch over dead. And you need to understand Jesus is coming back. If you want to be saved, send me a personal message right now. Pastor, I want to be saved. I want to be saved. I want to be saved. Go to my website and be touched by the Lord. I got some salvation scriptures there. I got some pictures of some powerful things. I just want you to hear and feel the Word of God. I want you to give your heart to Jesus. And if you're a Christian, you want to take communion, you can go to my website. I got an 8-minute communion service right there. Go to the partners page and take communion. Get your bread, get the wine, get set down there, the fruit of the vine, the juice. Sit there and take your communion in prayer. I'll be praying with you. People have done it all over the world. I want to help you in Jesus' name.